Hello Lubbock, welcome back to Women's Today. We are joined by Sarah Jensen this evening, and I think our conversation today will be very interesting and helpful to a lot of you. Thanks for coming on. Yes, hello, thank you for having me. Of course, before we get started, fill in our listeners on your background and why you're here today. Will do. So my name is Sarah. I'm studying nutrition at Texas Tech, studying to be a dietitian. And I'm here today to talk about endometriosis and how diet can provide some relief from women suffering with it. Endometriosis. I've heard of it. I think I've seen some influencers talk about it and their experience with it, but what is it? It's a condition that results in endometrial tissue, or the tissue that lines the uterus on the outside of the uterus, causing some painful symptoms. So it sounds serious. It can be. For those suffering, they really do suffer from some terrible symptoms. Okay, so tell me more about this condition. What types of painful symptoms do these women see? There are a number of them, but some most common are going to be cramping, gastrointestinal discomfort, so painful bowel movements, diarrhea, general pelvic pain, and severe bloating. So it's very similar to menstrual pains, but certainly heightened and a lot more frequent, causing a real disruption of somebody's quality of life. And so these symptoms are very closely resemble IBS as well. You said earlier that diet could help relieve some of these symptoms. What does that mean? There is some research that is surfacing that is regarding low FODMAP diets and how they can help keep those symptoms at bay. FODMAP, break that down for me. Absolutely. So FODMAP stands for fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols. This basically means that there are certain forms of carbohydrates that ferment in the digestive system that can trigger gut discomfort. And there's not a ton of research on it, and there's not much suggesting that people without endometriosis need to avoid high FODMAP foods. But an interesting study was done recently with some women avoiding high FODMAP foods for 28 days and then assessing their symptoms and overall quality of life. Okay, so before you get to the findings on the study, I need to know, what is a low FODMAP food and what is considered high? High FODMAP foods are going to be garlic, onion, cherries, yogurt, and low FODMAP foods are going to be carrots, pineapple, almond milk, and eggs. Makes sense. Wow, I had no idea that there were so many different types of carbohydrates, but I noticed that there was fruits and vegetables on both sides. So how can people looking to participate in this diet know when they're avoiding the right foods? The list is very long, and this is just to name a few, so it can be hard for participants to know by looking at a food whether or not it's high or low. So having a complete list from a dietitian is going to be really helpful here to keep that person's diet on track. That's fair. So if someone is listening and they have endometriosis, what do you suggest? Definitely work with a professional like a registered dietitian, someone who can assess your symptoms and make a personalized game plan. The internet is full of information, some good, some not so good. I agree, especially when it comes to chronic illness and nutrition. There can be some false claims, but I won't keep our listeners waiting any longer. What did this study find? After the 28 days, women reported having less symptoms and started having less severe pain. Participants improved overall scores on the low FODMAP diet versus the control diet and had clinically meaningful improvements in diarrhea, abdominal pain, and gastroesophageal reflux. That's amazing news, and it's so good to hear that this type of research is beginning. Absolutely, and it's just getting started. Some really impactful research regarding women's health and nutrition will continue to flourish, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. That's refreshing to hear. Thank you so much for coming on today and shedding some light on this. It was my pleasure. Thanks for chatting with me. Anytime. Next week, tune in for a conversation with Dr. Greenlee as we talk about bar and fitness as women age. See you then.